The episode reminds us that getting what we want and being happy with what we get are not the same thing. Not every Twilight Zone episode needs monsters or supernatural forces to devastate its audience. Time Enough at Last, the 8th episode of the first season, is a masterpiece that creates profound tragedy through pure irony. While it might look like a simple apocalypse episode at first glance, there's something else lurking beneath the surface, something more devastating than any disaster Rod Serling ever conceived. The episode opens with Henry Bemis, played by Burgess Meredith, working as a bank teller while secretly reading books during his lunch break. Henry is a book lover in a world hostile to his passion for reading books. His boss catches him reading Dickens instead of focusing on customers and threatens to fire him for his weakness. At home, his wife Helen actively sabotages his reading, marking up his books with lipstick to make them unreadable. She views his love of literature as a personal rejection and responds with deliberate cruelty. Henry retreats to the basement to read in secret, but faces constant ridicule and interruption. He fantasizes about endless hours to devour the best books without the constant demands of work, marriage, and social obligations. The irony begins when Henry's boss and wife lecture him about wasting time on useless pursuits. They represent a society that values productivity and social conformity over intellectual curiosity. Henry's reading is seen not as self-improvement, but as antisocial behavior needing correction. On the fateful day, Henry sneaks into the bank's vault during lunch to read in peace. The vault's thick walls provide perfect isolation. No interruptions, no demands, just Henry and his book. As he sits absorbed in reading, he hears distant rumbling, but pays no attention, lost in literature. Then, the ground shakes. When Henry emerges from the vault, he discovers a world transformed by nuclear devastation. The bank building is partially destroyed. The city lies in ruins, and everyone is dead. The apocalypse episode reveals its scope gradually as Henry wanders through the devastated landscape, finding only corpses and rubble. Henry realizes he's completely alone. His wife is dead. His boss is dead. Everyone he's ever known has been wiped out. The isolation he once craved for reading has become absolute isolation from all human contact. His first response is despair. He considers ending it, unable to bear the weight of total solitude. But then he discovers the public library. Though damaged, it still stands. Thousands of books have survived the disaster, scattered but readable. Mountains of literature stretch before him, more books than he could read in multiple lifetimes. The revelation fills Henry with overwhelming joy. He organizes the books methodically, sorting by priority and planning his reading schedule. Poetry for the mornings, novels for the afternoons, philosophy for the evenings. For the first time in his life, Henry Bemis has exactly what he always wanted: time enough at last to read without interruption. He speaks aloud to himself, making plans, setting goals, reveling in the freedom from all the people who once interfered with his reading. No more nagging wife, no more demanding boss, no more social obligations, just Henry and an endless supply of books. Henry settles down with his first selection, ready to begin his paradise of uninterrupted reading. He adjusts his thick glasses, opens the book, and prepares to lose himself in literature. Then comes the moment that makes this one of the most devastating Twilight Zone episodes ever created. As Henry bends over his book, his glasses slip and fall to the ground. The thick lenses shatter completely, leaving Henry effectively blind. Without his glasses, the books become nothing more than blurred shapes on white paper. He has all the time in the world and access to all the literature he ever dreamed of reading, but can no longer see well enough to read a single word. The episode ends with Henry kneeling among the broken glass and crying out in anguish. His dream has become his nightmare. He has time enough at last, but cannot use it. Time Enough at Last works as a philosophy lesson about desire and cruel irony. Rod Serling creates a scenario where getting exactly what you want becomes the ultimate suffering. The episode explores whether true happiness can exist in complete isolation. Henry represents the eternal book lover who feels misunderstood by a society that doesn't value intellectual pursuits. His desire for solitude reflects tensions between individual passions and social obligations. The episode asks whether pursuit of personal fulfillment justifies withdrawing from human connection. The moral lessons encompass broader questions about isolation and community. Henry gets his wish for solitude, but the episode suggests human happiness requires more than access to favored activities. The absence of other people creates a different kind of poverty. The irony operates on multiple levels. Henry survives precisely because he was hiding to read. His antisocial behavior saves his life, but the same disaster that grants unlimited reading time ensures his ability to read will be compromised. The dystopian elements work because they feel emotionally authentic, even in an extreme scenario. Many viewers recognize Henry's frustration with interruptions and obligation that prevent pursuit of personal interests. The broken glasses serve as the perfect symbol of how circumstances can destroy plans. Henry spent years frustrated by social obstacles, never considering physical limitations might pose greater threats. Rod Serling's genius lies in creating sympathy for Henry's desire, while demonstrating its limitations. The episode forces us to consider whether we would want our wishes fulfilled if it meant losing everything else. The philosophy challenges assumptions about happiness. Henry believes external obstacles prevent his happiness, but the episode suggests happiness requires complex negotiations between individual desires and social connections. For anyone frustrated by obligations that interfere with personal interests, Time Enough It Lasts serves as both validation and warning. The episode's power lies in recognizing that life's cruelest ironies often involve getting exactly what we think we want. I hope you enjoyed that breakdown of the Twilight Zone episode Time Enough It Lasts. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe, comment, do all those things. It really helps us out, and we'll see you next time.